Welcome to the second Denmark video. After the west coast was already covered in the first part, now the second video is about Toftum Bjerge, Venö Island, Gyldendal, Dokkedal and Molb Bjerge. The first area covered by this video will be Fullsø Beach near Aarhus. Fullsø Beach is just one of several paragliding areas in Molb Bjerge National Park. The dunes are facing southeast and they might be 15 to 20 meters high. The whole flyable ridge is 800 meters long. The official takeoff is just a couple of meters to the left-hand side of the parking, near the first wooden stairs up from the beach to the dune. To the left-hand side we can see the takeoff. Since it is a little to the lee, it is possible to open the wooden gate in the fence and also start from the meadow. Since we didn't know to be allowed to open the gate at our first takeoff attempt, we were facing quite some problems with the lee side terrain and the weak wind. But after some training, it was no problem anymore to use this launch site as a takeoff. Directly in front of the parking, there's a huge meadow, perfect for ground handling. And the way back to the top of the dunes is always only a short hike from the beach. A couple of meters up to the north from the first takeoff, there was another takeoff option. This one was much easier to handle in low wind, but later some local guides told us it's not official and we shouldn't have used it. Then it was my turn to get out and to do my first flight at this dune. And out we go. The wind was not really very strong, maybe 5 or 6 meters a second, just enough to keep in the air. But still it was great fun, as there had only been 5 or 6 other pilots around, so the area was not too crowded. Depending on the wind situation, I think there should not be more than 10 pilots in the air at the same time. Here we see the northern part of the dunes, where they are getting smaller and smaller and where it is increasingly difficult to find lift. In strong wind situations it might be possible to extend the soaring range towards the south if you make it over the ground handling area, where not much upwind will be available. On my way to the next paragliding area in Dokkedal, I had a quick stopover in Karløy Castle, where a southwest facing soaring ridge is located. According to local guides, this is an insider tip, as there are not many pilots using it. The dune is located on the southern side of the castle. It is very small, only 100 or 200 meters long, so only a few pilots can use it same time. From Molb Bjerge to Dokkedal, it's just about 80 kilometers in linear distance. Here I am standing at a takeoff on the Dokkedal dune, which offers a great view over the area. The dunes are facing east and they are about 25 meters high. It's quite a small ridge with a length of about 400 to 500 meters. Here a local pilot trying to get out from the main takeoff at about 10 o'clock in the morning. Wind was not too strong. I think it's better to handle up from the beach and take off somewhere in the middle of the dune, as they are not too steep. The whole area is anyway perfect for ground handling. From the main takeoff towards the north, there's another ridge with a second launching place. At this ridge it is more difficult to find lift than at the main dune. During my visit it was only used by local pilots. Looking back to the south, there is the whole area with the main takeoff and the ground handling in front of it. Dokkedal is also a great area for new pilots to improve their skills step by step. First with small flights, like me here in the video, then with increasingly longer flights from further up the dune. A lot of pilots I know are camping enthusiasts. 10 kilometers south of Dokkedal there's the town called Österhurup, where a great camping site is located directly at the harbor. From the east coast we are now moving inland to our next station in Gyldendal. And here it was paragliding time at a wind speed of about 8 meters a second. The challenge in Gyldendal is that the takeoff is at a dune which is only about 5 or 6 meters high. Here the pilot needs to gain some height to get over a section where the dune is even lower. Having mastered this, the main dune is reached. It's about 25 meters high and about 300 meters long. Here I started with the normal glider in wind speed of about 6 or 7 meters a second. On the left hand side you can see the dune, where, as already mentioned before, the pilot has to gain some height to make it over the lowest part of the ridge. On the left hand side now in slow motion, the takeoff place. Where you see the people it's about 6 or 7 meters high, and I started down there where it might be 4 meters only. So you can vary your takeoff depending on the wind situation. I'm now approaching the lower part of the ridge in front of me. This is now the lowest part, just before the main dune begins. As soon as the main dune is reached, height is not a problem anymore, and there are great views to the harbor and to the sea. There's also a nice ground handling area between the small dune and the large dune. In front of us we can see the connection of both, and if the wind is strong enough, passing is no problem. Gyldendal definitely is not an easy paragliding area, but it is the only southwest option around. Moving from southwest to northwest in Toftum Bjerge. Well, that's it already. We have seen the whole ridge with one flight. Toftum Bjerge definitely was one of my favorite spots during my Denmark trip. The takeoff is located at the highest point of the dune. You can find pilots here every day if the conditions are good, and the conditions are good very often. Even if the main wind direction is not suitable for Toftum, as soon as thermal clouds are building up on the mainland, the wind changes and hits the ridge perfectly. It is not unlikely that the wind is getting very strong in a short period of time. Sometimes it can only take 30 minutes from a low wind situation to a strong wind situation. So it is a good idea to bring a smaller glider or a paraglide just in case. And it's a good idea to take off as long as it is possible before it's too late. Besides the main takeoff, there's also a second takeoff at the northern part of the ridge. This is really a small dune, maybe 4 or 5 meters high. It is only suitable for pilots with a lot of experience in strong wind situations. As already mentioned, Toftum Bjerge is facing northwest. The dune height is about 30 meters and the soaring distance more or less 3 kilometers. Here we have another view at the takeoff. And finally a nice evening flight. Our final destination in this video will be Venö Island. Here I am now in Venö Island. Venö Island is just 10 kilometers away from Toftum Bjerge, which is over there. This takeoff faces the same direction as in Toftum Bjerge, to the northwest, but if there's too much wind in Toftum Bjerge, it might be possible to get in the air here, because the wind already slowed down a couple of kilometers an hour here at this ridge. The takeoff is found at the northwestern part of the island in front of a youth camp. The ridge is by far not as attractive as Toftum Bjerge, as it is only about 1 kilometer long and the dunes might be about 10 to 15 meters high. For me there are two reasons to come here: either too much wind or too many pilots in Toftum Bjerge. Theoretically, further down the south in Venö, there's also a takeoff to the west. I had a look at it, but it's really not advisable. If you look at my first Denmark video, you find a lot of west options which are much better.